Okay. Okay. So, and that's actually, think, again, come back to normal. Everybody says it's going to be a new normal. It's going to be a different experience. So, and I actually want to ask a question. How you see your career as an artist, as a dancer after the pandemic? What new ideas will you bring into your art?
And if Harley's back, maybe she can start us off. Let's do a second.
Harley is back. Harley is back.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you clear and loud.
I caught the question you asked before I went away. I'm not sure how much was already answered or what we're at now.
You can blend them. I think you can blend them because they naturally roll into each other. The first
Yes.
question was, currently in this time of COVID, how have you been impacted by an artist? And Harley, of course, we know is a multi-layered artist. And also then that's a great segue for what's next for you as an artist in the future. And I think after Harley answers, it would be great to hear from all the ladies about what's next for them as an artist.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, the way I envision my dance career is always shifting, and I think that feeling of concern and asking questions is an essential piece of the life of an artist anyway, pandemic or not. So in some ways, I feel like my career path has prepared me to be introspective and to shapeshift to accommodate things that I have no control over pretty often. And so obviously this is a big time where many of us have no control over what's happening. And I feel fortunate that I'm accustomed to kind of just changing and going with the flow as needed. I think that the members of the dance community have done a really incredible job of holding each other through all of this and finding ways to stay connected, whether it's virtually or more phone conversations, even social distance dancing in the park or something, just to kind of keep your spirits up and kind of connected to your body. And I feel like there's just across the board in the dance field especially, but also just in general, this renewed sense of compassion and thoughtfulness that I think a lot of people are experiencing, as a moving forward from this. I hope that that's something that can stay alive in our communities, and specifically in the dance community. I think we're all going to be so grateful when we can share space together again. And I just look forward to not ever taking that for granted, because it's been hard to kind of remove yourself from the comfortable and familiar environment that we're used to.
Okay. Anybody else? Actually, yeah, everybody else. Did we just go?
Hi, so I'll go next. So I agree with a lot of that. I feel like right now it is hard to answer the question of like what's next, because a lot of things have been put on hold. A lot of companies that I may have considered auditioning for have canceled their auditions and may not be looking to hire after this. But I feel like one lesson that we can take from history, including this piece that literally shows us, no matter what, the arts are going to continue, no matter what the situation is. So I feel like even though my job and what I do might not be considered, technically essential at this moment, it's still going to be something that people seek and need. And I feel like we are very resilient. We are going to find a way to connect, whether that is in person, like we are used to in the studio that we love the most, or if it's through Zoom and through sharing things like this online, which I'm so happy to see, like how many people bought tickets and how many people have shown up. I was honestly a little bit skeptical and a little surprised, because I thought, how many people are really gonna want to watch something that they can't see live right now. So I wasn't sure, to be honest, but I'm really happy to see that. And I think that's just kind of a example of how things are going to keep going, especially if we have people that are motivated and ready to, get creative and find a way to like share what we want to do and say that we still are here and want to dance and work and make something for people. So honestly, I'm not sure, but I feel good with the community that I have here and the arts community in general, I always find that wherever I dance, like whether it's in this state or other states, everybody always says like the dance world is a small world. Like it's a small world, but the dance world is very, very small. So I feel like no matter where I am or what the situation is, I'll always be able to have a community to reach out to say, okay, like what are we gonna do next? So.
Okay. Who will talk next?
I'll take it next. I think the big word for me right now is adaptation, and really just trying to find ways to adapt to the situation we're in. Obviously, none of us ever thought this was going to happen, and I love to plan. So I had all these plans in place, and I thought I had everything figured out, and then of course, as always, something happens that we don't expect that's going to happen. So I think this is a really good time to focus on adapting and like finding out how I can still be creative during a time when like none of us really feel normal and feel a little bit more stressed or like foggy than usual. So seeing how I can still dig deep and find ways to be creative and find ways to still make art and dance, even though it might be like in my bedroom, like in front of a small mirror, like trying to take ballet class or whatever I can do. So adapting and really finding ways that I can still be creative. And I think also focusing on finding what I value most in dance and what I really want to focus on most. So really trying to channel my energy into that, finding what I really want to focus on and being creative about it, and continuing to adapt to the situation that we're in, because I don't think anyone ever really knows what's going to happen next.
And you're exactly right. That Coco's life.
Yes.
That goes life. Courtney?
Whoops, sorry, I had to unmute. So Casey took my exact word, adapting. I'm just like her. I'm a planner. I'm a planner to a sense of, you know, I have my schedule, but I also love to go with the flow, and there's certain surprises that I don't mind. This one, I'm not a fan of the surprise, but I actually took one class. It was a modern class from my old high school teacher, and what she just said at the end of class really stuck with me. So I'll read you what she said. It's like very short. She said, as artists, obstacles are just to show you how much you want it. That's all. It's not negative. And then obstacles change. That's all we're doing. And we're always doing that. We're adapting. So I feel like that really stuck with me, because as an artist, she's so right. You're always adapting. Like, you need to kind of keep up with the time. So like, say you're used to one thing, it's like, oh, if the world changes, like whether it's commercially, like commercial dance or concert dance, it's like you want to still, because life as an artist, as hard as it is, that although you want to do what you want, you may have to switch into what's geared towards your audience. So I know even like with Asio, we were going over like different like ideas of how to get workout and everything else. So I know we all like to, like for us, we're modern dancers or contemporary, and you know, going on in the world right now is like, oh, commercial dance, and it's more jazz, hip hop, and which I personally don't do. So again, that's me adapting to change. So I don't necessarily think of it as negative. It's more of like what will help me grow as a performer. Mm-hmm. And again, I did have auditions lined up that were canceled, but you know, for now, maybe it is what it is, just because my life is taking me somewhere else, which is okay, but it's like seeing where it goes.
Okay. We got Sarah.
Sure. So, I mean, I think in general for all of us, with what's next for us as an artist, just in general, there's so much uncertainty, but I really feel like the arts, for one thing, so many artists are very positive about it. So that's helpful as a community, just to pull each other through these times. And I think just for now too, it's finding ways to continue to work on myself, whether that's like my mind, my body, my spirit, in order to like stay healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that. I think that's super important. So finding whatever works for you as an artist, like not everyone loves the online classes, right? But what's working for you right now to keep you sane and feeling like yourself. So that's something that I found is super important. But I also am someone who is very optimistic, and like we can all learn something no matter what the situation is, whatever is happening to us. At the other end of it, you will have learned something, and hopefully you can take that and put it in your pocket and continue on with yourself. But I think it can bring us all together in a new way, and just find the silver lining. How do you create that community? As artists, I think that's our job. As I forget who mentioned, but like I think it was Kaylin, like everything that you see on social media, TV, like everyone is turning to the arts in this time. So that just proves like it's more important. It's that much more important to continue on, continue to create when you feel inspired, continue to dance, continue to be yourself in those times. And I really enjoy how Harley and others have pointed out that as artists, we are kind of like, this is our life. Like there's so much uncertainty in like auditioning and all of that anyway. So we never really know what's exactly next, but that's why we have to continue to adapt and continue to thrive in whatever environment it may be. So we'll see what's next.
Would you say that this is an appropriate time to say that we should just carry on?
I would say so.
For those who don't know, that's the virtual piece that we created for and during the time of COVID-19. So I think everyone on this thread has already seen it, but don't forget to keep spreading that message. It was really meant to uplift people's spirits, and I hope there's more to come. So.